All right, Mila, I'm so happy to have you here and welcome. So let's just jump right in. What do you do and who do you help?
So this is very exciting. I'm so happy to see you here too. Thank you so much for, allowing me this opportunity to speak. I'm a matchmaker. I've been a matchmaker since I was 20 years old, unintentionally. It just happened that way. But I became an official matchmaker on July 2023, and I help people find love and sometimes marriage. I'm invited to two weddings this year. Yay. Well, didn't get the official invite yet, but it's in the It's in the making.
Great. And matchmaker is very broad. So who is it that you help specifically if someone's like, I need that, I need her?
Exactly. So ages 18 to 80. If they're a bit older, that's okay too. Worldwide, because with the internet and Zoom and all these options that we now have, I can speak to anybody and everyone, everywhere around the world. Um, I also work with the LGBT community. I also work with special needs adults, and yeah, so it's been wonderful, wonderful,
Oh,
wonderful.
that's really on the exciting. Spectrum. I love on the
I
spectrum.
love that show.
It's so inspiring. So that's really wonderful.
I've learned a lot actually from that show, just the little intricates that I didn't really know. So
Make
it's been very helpful to me as well.
So what are some success stories? Everybody loves a love success story, but what are some that stick out to you?
Of course. So I guess we'll have to go back to the three marriages that occurred. The first one, I'll tell my story just a bit quickly so you understand how it all started. I came to Canada in 1985 when I was 14 years old. At 19 years old, I decided to go back to Israel, to a kibbutz, where I met my own husband. And before leaving for Canada with him, I introduced his brother to my friend, and they were the first match that ever happened. And when you are successful for the first time, you're so excited to try it over and over again because, oh my God, I could do that. I have this magic,
Mm.
right? So I became a very natural matchmaker, super attract connector, if you may. So I'd say about a year later, I was working for a dental supply company, and one of my clients kept, sharing her frustrations over the phone and about the dating world. For some reason, I felt, oh, we have a guy in the warehouse. Perhaps he could be one for you to meet. So I introduced them. They had two children. And just to go back, my brother in law and my sister in law obviously had children as well. I have two beautiful nephews because of the match that I made. So, so couple number two met. They had two girls. They've been together for a while. And then I sent many people on various dates, but the third match only happened in 2017. A friend of mine was a son of a friend was coming back from Israel to Canada to finish some business. I had a friend who I knew. I introduced them. The love magic happened really fast, and they both have two daughters as well. They came to visit Canada just about a couple of weeks ago for Passover, so I was happy to meet them and the girls for the first time. So it was very, very exciting. So those are the marriages. Okay, after starting my business in July of 2023, up until now, 8 couples have met. I should say many couples have met. However, the ones who became a little bit more committed to one another are 8. One couple got engaged in Toronto. Another couple got engaged in British Columbia. So I'm hopeful that I will receive some invitations because I would love to go to celebrate their beautiful union and dance with them. That would be so, so amazing. The other 6 are still dating. So I really hope that more weddings come out of these unions as well. And I don't know who else will be next, right? It's one of these businesses where I have zero idea what's going to happen. I just trust and work with the universe because it's leading me to where I need to go.
So if there's someone who's listening to this and they're like, I'll support Mila, but really they're sort of curious for themselves,
Sure.
what's the process like when somebody says, listen, I think I need help?
Right, right. So I sort of joke around. I'm like a job recruiter, only I recruit love.
Mm.
And so I have two options. Okay. There's a free database. Everybody's welcome to join the database, or you can hire a matchmaker for 1 year. And I feel that 1 year is a good enough time span to, to sort of go through the process. And, Mila is the search engine.
Mhm.
Everywhere I go, everyone I meet, I'm always telling them, this is what I do. This is what I do. And you never know who's going to, hear about me, have a cousin somewhere in, I don't know, I'm throwing it out there, in New York or,
Mhm.
Philadelphia or New Hampshire or anywhere, right? It would trigger something in them to say, hey, hold on, maybe, maybe this person can help, or if Mila can help this person. So I never know. I never know who I'm going to meet. Potentially that person that I'm supposed to meet, I haven't met yet. So that's the beauty of this business is I don't know. I never know who will be the potential for person who I will be helping in the future.
Got it. So if somebody reaches out to you, they can go into your database as someone that'll kind of be, I'm thinking of like a Rolodex.
Exactly. Yes, very similar to that, I guess. And so let's imagine that you hire me for help. Okay, so I can just explain to you how that would work.
Yeah, great.
Uh, so let's say we're committed to a 1 year relationship between us, trying to find this, match that you are looking for. So I would have a Zoom call just to get to know you a little better. And I always explain, I'm very intuitive. So I look at your energy prints, just like we all have a fingerprint, we also have an energy print. So
Mhm.
that's my cue to sort of feel it out. Who would be a good match? However, and energy aside, there's also attraction. There's, all the chemistry and all these other factors that are so important when searching for a match. So I might feel something, but you might tell me, no, 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 I don't agree with you on that specific match that I would offer, right? So it's a process. We're working together, for 1 year to find all these potential matches. So what I do every month, I do the same thing. I check my database because people join constantly. I actually advise what I have other matchmakers in the city or outside of the city that I deal with. And we sort of work together. Okay, here's a picture. What do you think? Who do you feel would be a good match for this person? We all use our intuition heavily. And some people recommend some people sometimes, and we try, right? I always ask the ladies first, for their um, approval of the person. If they say yes, then we reach out to the person, to the guy, and if both sides obviously agree, then they go on a date or a phone call at least. And I don't get involved in that process. I don't, I just give out the phone numbers and the people sort of go on their merry way, and then they come back, give me some feedback of how it all went. But the point is that I'm very consistent. Every month I do the same. I check my database. I check with other matchmakers. I go to events. If you're a part of my clients, you're always on my mind. I'm always, my antennas are on all the time, and I'm constantly thinking, who do I know? Who is here at this party who may be a good match? Um, Word of mouth has been super amazing, super amazing. So, I try to do as much as I can, using the tools that I have, as part of my intuition, or my biggest tool is my intuition.
Yes. This sounds so you make it sound so fun. I know a lot of people sit around and swipe and look at all these apps and when you're putting your energy into like or it's just like some using it as some distraction, it's not as like I hear you making people front and center your priority, and that I think feels a whole lot cooler than just like scrolling around on your phone as a distraction.
I'm going to say that, action is required. You can't just sit at home and say, yes, I'll find him. You have to be proactive, right? So I still say, do stay on all the apps that you do, right? But just be more mindful, try to see what you feel. Many of us have a lot of intuition built in. Okay. So if you look at a picture, a lot of times you can sense things as well. And to sort of not scroll mindlessly,
Yeah.
just have a little bit more of a mindful approach to it, have more of an intention. I'm searching to find someone. Um, and I'm sure that the guidance will come to you as well if you do it in a more mindful way.
Yeah, intentional and not just like
Right.
as like
That's right. That's right.
and what would you suggest to someone that's like they think that they have to get ready first, or maybe they have kids, or somebody who just is I don't know, a little bit down on themselves, or just think they're not ready yet, but they really want to be in a partnership.
Well, if they're not ready, then potentially it's not a good time to step out and look for someone. But if you are ready, make it known because
Mm.
the universe will help you. And there are souls out there who
Yeah.
are you are meant to meet for the purpose of having a romantic relationship with, right? So if I'm supposed to meet someone, he's looking for me as well, right? It's a joint venture,
Yes, I love that. It's so
right? So, but once you say to the world, I'm ready, right? be intentional, go out there with an intention. But if something is stuck, change the energy. Sometimes I'm going to give an example. So I see a lot of divorced women who have been married for a long time. Suddenly they're out there again, they're looking. So they change their energy. They get dressed differently. Suddenly they do their hair differently. They go out with different friends. So they change the energy to be available in the sense where maybe something they didn't do when they were married. So do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
Change
I totally do. Yeah,
change
I think
the
having a
energy.
bad attitude really pushes things away and, coming with a fresh slate or a fresh start. And I think that's a really good purpose for you. It's like
Exactly.
we have these ideas about dating and who I want and da da da. But when you have to be in connection with someone like you and you have to actually say out loud, yes, height is important. Yes, job is important. Yes, ambition is important. It becomes isolated out of a to-do list of that.
Exactly.
Maybe some things are not as important. And so to be able to separate what's my priorities, what's really important, and what's like, I'm flexible, is
Exactly.
so important in manifesting this person and being so clear about it. So I love what you do.
100%. And yeah, once ask and you shall receive, right? I
Mhm.
truly believe
Yes.
in that. But you have to be patient as well, because some people have a hard time with the patient aspect. So be
Oh,
patient, right? Because it's brewing, it's working.
yes.
Because a lot of times people come to me and we're not successful in finding that person. And that's okay
That's a
too,
good
right?
one.
But
Yes.
something's shifted. You are on your way there. I really hope that sometimes, those who come to me get something more than just me searching for their partner, but because I do bring my spiritual wisdom or knowledge or excitement, because I find this super exciting. So
Yeah.
I really truly hope that every interaction with me is a positive one, right? But unfortunately I cannot promise 100% success to anyone. i
Great.
wish i
So
wish
honest.
i
Yes.
wish
Yeah. I mean, that's where someone has to come to you with some kind of their own faith and not just like, okay, demanding or anxious about it.
That's right. That's right. 100%.
Yeah.
Again, trust, trust, trust. That's my mantra. Trust.
Yes, I love that. And is there anything else that you'd like to share with curious people? I mean, your information will be here, so everybody could click on it. Well, how do they get in touch with you?
Yeah, so I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, phone number on WhatsApp. That's easy. We're connected to the whole world these days. If they have any questions, I'm happy to answer any of the questions that they may have. Um, yeah, and, let's make a love connection. Wasn't there a show like that on TV?
Yes, love connection. Yes, I just sometimes I see old clips of it and it's just so, I don't know, it's charming in its own funny way.
It is, it is, it is, it is. And it can be exciting. You just, again, if you come in with an open mind, I'm not going to be disappointed. This is an extra tool because, the prices are not extremely expensive. This is an extra tool aside for everything that I'm doing. This is an extra tool to find that person, right? If it's meant to be, 1,000% it will happen. 1,000%.
1,000%. So that means everyone who's like curious enough, I just want to say you're so warm and welcoming that it doesn't feel like get perfect or, anything that I would like. I've seen magazine articles for matchmakers and I'm like, whoa, you look like you have to be in some kind of perfect state, but this just feels really warm. And I know you personally enough, as much as we can know, that you're really warm and easy to open up to. So I'm so grateful that you're doing this and that you have had so many successes and more to come.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Amazing. And is there anything else you want to share about you and your business or what's next for you?
Well, I'm actually heading out to Israel for about a month. So I'm hoping to make new connections in
Oh, you're
Israel.
putting on your goggles of meeting people. Beautiful.
Exactly, exactly. And the aunt that lives in Jerusalem might have a nephew in Canada or a nephew in New York. So we're all connected. We don't understand how much we're connected.
Ah, I love that. I just got chills.
Of course, of course. So, if it's meant to be, it will happen. If this is the option that you feel that you need to try, it's available, right? And I always make a comment that, there are many matchmakers out there. I may not be your cup of tea, and that's okay. Choose the one that you feel most comfortable with. That's super, super important for the process. And we're like job recruiters. You know what I mean? If you need help, this is why we're here. Choose the one and join all the databases out there, because you want to be out, everywhere so that people can reach you for that purpose, and work with the one you feel most comfortable with. That's the ultimate.
I love it. It makes me think of Mrs. Maisel. Remember when her mother,
Yes, yes, yes,
yes,
yes. Every time.
luncheon, that fancy luncheon, and it was like there was
I
trouble.
love, I love that show. It was so funny and so apropos.
Yes, yes, amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time. And I'm just like, I'm happy to celebrate all of your successes with you and even the success of people saying, I'm ready.
Exactly.
That is so beautiful. So celebrating those two.
Exactly. Thank you. I love it.
Okay, take care.
Thanks.